Now, reports revealed that the Enugu State Police Command, through the operatives of Nsukka Urban Division, with support of Neighborhood Watch Group on 1st December 2025, arrested one Emeka Emmanuel Nwangwu, a male aged 51, for the gruesome murder of his maternal cousin, Loveth Uloma Nwangwu, aged 19. The suspect, a member of the Neighborhood Security Watch Group, committed the crime at a pharmacy in Nsukka, where he was arrested. Now, the deceased had earlier reported a case of defilement, sexual abuse, abduction, and threat to life against the suspect on 28th November this year to Umabo Division. She alleged that she had been living with the suspect since 2019 at age 13 after the death of his wife, and that he had restricted her communication with family and friends and subjected her to sexual abuse. Take a look.
His father and mother. His mother and your mom.
Can you say you know so no je make mobro ni ju ni ya se gas na be?
He said if I not come back here, like if I go back to my house again, like you kill me, I kill my mother and my brother. Like you go and block road where my brother is schooling as Abuja. If you come, you will kill him, and you can look for our firstborn. You see him also kill him.
Oh, what?
Not that police will not do anything. That I feel like you can call police.
That's what made you to jump fence and...
Owe na fuzi this afternoon. We lock I door inside. So fence up that she na tries to escape again.
Okay. Obachite Uzo.
Locked all the door and locked her inside. Yes.
I was mistaken, but I dropped them.
Oga hot jump tas down. Can you why catches there? I figure me go jumps down. No with no job there na banyes inside bush and now call people around we gathered her. So yeah, go him every day at this place. Maniona go in that place no chorus can the man and the man has been threatening her. We said that I don't know. No can be back. So
He said that is not a threat, that is a promise.
That is not a
threat,
it's a promise.
See, listen,
Now, we're still unsure when that video was captured, but it seemed to have emerged recently. Now, after attempting to escape to her family home in Enugu Ezike, Bueze, North Local Government area, the suspect allegedly threatened her with a firearm, forcing her back to his residence in Ibeku-Opi, Nsukka Local Government area, where she was locked up in a room. She later escaped using a spare key and reported the incident to the police, who issued her a medical report form for examination. Now, the suspect and family were invited to the station, where he confessed, sought forgiveness, and promised to return her property. Now, the family, citing personal ties, initially chose not to prosecute the case, but opted for spiritual cleansing due to the incestuous and abominable act against the victim. Now, tragically, while receiving treatment at a pharmacy in Nsukka, the suspect forced his way in, assaulted her, and struck her head repeatedly on the floor, causing fatal injuries. The victim was taken to the hospital, where her death was confirmed and her remains deposited in the mortuary for preservation and autopsy. The suspect was rearrested and is in police custody. The Commissioner of Police, CP Maman Giwa, PSC, condemned the crime and the cruel manner in which it was committed, consoling the family and assuring the public that justice will be served. He has also directed the State Criminal Investigation Department, that's the State CID, to investigate the case meticulously and ensure that it is charged to court within record time. Afia TV correspondent Elijah Akuma joins us now to share his experience investigating this story and, of course, what the mood, the environment, and the general pulse of Nsukka is this morning. Elijah, thank you so much for joining us. Taking a break from your investigation. It's so good to have you, Elijah.
Yes, good morning, Natalie. Thank you for having me here too.
Just listening to this story, let alone being on air and talking about it, it just seems so heinous. And the manner with which this police report actually says he did it, I think it's something that can make someone to just wonder if we are all still humans in this country. Could you tell us what the general atmosphere in Nsukka is like? What does it reflect? What are people saying?
Okay. First of all, it's very saddening talking about this issue because the manner in which the murder happened is heartbreaking, and there are a whole lot of questions yet to be answered. Because from the press release and all the responses I have been getting from this report, it shows that before this thing happened, or while it was even happening, no one made an effort to stop him. Come on, this in a pharmacy shop where people are always around. And I went to the scene where this thing happened. It's a very busy place. You see bike men, you see people passing, people coming to buy drugs, and a whole lot of things happening. But there was no report of someone trying to stop him from carrying out this very evil act. And then secondly, something again that beats my imagination. Of course, it's the talk of the town here in Nsukka. Everybody's talking about it. What beats my imagination is when I got there to ask questions. That's the said pharmacy shop, to ask questions about what really happened, how did it happen, who, and just to get information. They were hoarding information. Nobody wanted to talk. In fact, it was as though I was disturbing. In fact, before leaving for this investigation, I was even saying that maybe these people may not even be around. The shop may not be open, at least for some to show some respect. Okay, this thing just happened. But right from the day the incident happened, these people were open, selling till date. They are still there, making their business as though nothing happened. And at least to show their contribution, to give a contribution to at least trying to handle this issue, they should have granted information or granted interview and said something, or just reveal one or two things that would help in unraveling or following up this story. But they didn't do that. So it's quite a very pathetic situation. And then this girl too. Yes, you can hear me, right?
Yeah. How is this man perceived, Emeka Emmanuel Nwangwu? How is he perceived in that community? How is he perceived around that area?
Okay, yes, there is this belief that he's a very notorious person. I spoke to several persons. About the personality of this man in question. They've all been saying that he's notorious. In fact, some respondents said he has a link to every local government chairman that comes into government, and he somehow works with powers that be, and that may be the reason why they're handling the case.
So everybody's scared of him.
But then I've not been able to find it. Yes, there's this fear that comes, and perhaps that may even be the reason for the silence, because nobody wanted to grant an interview. Once I mentioned the case, they are saddened about it, but once they hear that it's about this case, everybody is just shifting away from it because of this perception of the man involved.
I mean, there are two things that draw my attention. The use of the word notorious and him trying to establish connection with local government chairmen. So it paints the picture of a man who has been in Nsukka for a very long time, for him to have done that with successive LG chairman as alleged. But that is also a very dangerous tie to be drawing. That's why I have to ask, could it be politically motivated? People saying that he is trying to or gets connected with LG chairman. I mean, that's a very political dimension to take. Do you think there's any sense or air of political motivation in this case?
Well, I may not be able to say so for now, because we've not yet heard from the local government chairman for him to give information from his own perspective. But then, with the way the whole report is going, every sane person would know that there is more to this. Because prior to the death of this young girl, there have been videos of her complaining, reporting about the abuse and the inhumane treatment she's been receiving from this man. But it seemed like nothing was really done about it. Now that she's dead, that all these videos are coming, and most of these videos were taken in the police station, where she came to make statements. Okay, in fact, the background voice of one of the men in one of the videos I watched, I heard him saying that this case, there's nothing concerns them much about this case before the video ended. And it now boils to the fact that, are you sure that people are really, really safe in this country where you have a case, you have a problem, you go to the police to report and they exempt themselves, they don't do anything about it? It still points to the fact that he must have serious backing from certain sources that
you
may not be able to say.
described the location. When you are investigating this, you described the location as heavily busy, lots of traffic. Are you saying that that particular pharmacy has yet to be cordoned off as a crime scene? Has it been cordoned off as a crime scene, judging that by the fact that somebody's head was hit repeatedly in that area and she eventually died? Is it a crime scene yet, or are people still buying medication?
As I'm speaking to you now, that place is still busy. I was there yesterday. People were selling. In fact, I had to wait for my turn for them to even know what I came for. I stood there for some minutes, and then when I spoke to the first person who was selling there, I told her what I came for. She said that their boss is not around. I said, okay, put a call through to him, or can I have his contact? She wasted some time, attended to some customers before she came back to me again and told me that she can't attend to me. She can't give me that information. The person who was there when the crime happened is currently not around. And I couldn't understand. I said, you mean all of you here were not present when this whole thing happened? Okay, I asked for the contact of her boss so I could talk to her. But no information. They turned it down. In fact, they became aggressive about my push to either talk to whoever the boss is or get certain information. So that place is still busy selling and buying as I'm talking to you now.
At the time that this lady was being assaulted, you're saying that, do you have any concrete evidence that nobody actually tried to intervene? I mean, I find it hard to picture a situation where somebody will be hit so brutally, so gruesomely, and people would not try to stop him. Did anybody try to stop him, or are you unsure about that information?
Yes, like I said, I am not clear about that information, because when I went to the shop yesterday to ask those questions, though they were not giving helpful information, but I still pressed. I said, it was said that this girl's head was hit severally against the wall. Was that true? The woman said yes, before she now said that please, that she can't give any further information about it, that she please excuse them, and she left. So it's obvious from the responses we've gotten that nothing seriously was done. And then, though I still don't have a clear picture of all this, how can such a thing happen and nobody tried to either stop him?
Okay.
So there are still a lot of information to unravel from this.
There's a statement you made. Well, you said it is in a video. At the end of the video, that the police at the police station, one of the days she was making her reports, right? That they said that this doesn't concern them. So, which of the departments of the police arrested this man? Since it seems that he's so feared in that community.
Okay, I think that's the Nsukka Urban Division, right? That's already clear. But the concern
right?
here is the person that made the video, right? Yeah. We're not sure who was making the video.
He said he was in a police station.
Or who it was being referred to. Yeah. It's not your concern. You know whether he was talking to someone who was trying to distract the video.
Because my question is, since they said it wasn't whoever that said that, as he stated, was in a police station, right? Since they said it wasn't their business, so why isn't their business now arresting the victim, the man, after he has perpetrated this kind of evil act?
But I think the key question, for clarity's sake, is can you confirm who made that remark? Who was making the video?
Okay, well, I may still push again, because most of the moves I made yesterday still kept on pushing me back to the PPRO in Enugu and Sandukwe. So I may still try again, but looking at the press release that was made, I don't understand that press release, because I don't see the reason why we should be proudly describing how this girl was murdered in the presence of people, and then the police was aware of this prior to her death. She had made several reports. In fact, this morning I still came across another video of her where she was still reporting the same abuse, the same man.
And this is just my concern.
And
this is just my concern.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why are you arresting the man now since he has perpetrated the evil? Since you could have averted this, countered this all this while, but
exactly.
you kept mute. It's now you want to arrest him. So now there's loss of life.
In fact, from the press release, it is confirmed that he came to the police station and agreed to the fact that he has been abusing this young girl. He agreed to all the things the girl had said and then pled for forgiveness, and he was forgiven. And this girl was given back to him. Like, how? How possible? How can this even have happened? A young girl has complained about an abuser, and you forgave the person, and they handled it like a family affair with the reason that they were going for this spiritual cleansing or what? In this dispensation? No, I think that we need a better clarification about this. The security agency has to do something much better compared to this.
Elijah, on your own part, you need to follow up this story to the very end, right? Because just don't let it miss on the way. You need to, because that's the only way this lovely girl, Loveth, would get justice. Because if he misses on the way, you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. The way they went around or about this case, from her reporting and doing nothing, he actually plead and forgive him and give him back the girl and all that. And now the girl is dead. Is this and all that.
So let's look at this particular paragraph in this press release. The suspect and family were invited to the station where he confessed. This was a previous interaction where he confessed, sought forgiveness, and promised to return her property. The family, citing personal ties, initially chose not to prosecute the case, but opted for spiritual cleansing due to the incestuous and abominable act against him. I'm just wondering, if this man had initially frustrated communication between this young girl, the 19-year-old, she's 19, some reports say 13, she's 19. She arrived at his place when she was 13, but as of now, she's 9. Yeah, she was 19 before she died. So if they were aware that they were being isolated and could not communicate with her, and some way, somehow had initially, had that interaction and they were aware of what she was complaining about, as multiple online reports are saying, should the family also bear some responsibility in what has happened to this young girl? Because I'm starting to feel that this is a case of poverty being weaponized. Elijah?
Yes. Somehow, I still feel that this is not balanced, because if she had no contact with family all the while, so which of family members came to agree for a spiritual cleansing? And what sane family will hear that their child, even if poverty is the case here, your child is being abused and manhandled, and you are opting for spiritual cleansing? What kind of spiritual cleansing are they going to do? Is she possessed? Does she have any spiritual problem? A human being abused a young girl, and there is a provision in the law for how to handle an abuser. And he confessed to that crime. He should be taken in. He should have been taken in. And he should have been arrested and not to be forgiven. This country, we keep on hearing stories about people being forgiven, people who have committed crimes that should be taken and handled by the law, they are being forgiven and then being sent back into the society.
Right.
How are we going to get better?
Then let's look at the suspect. Let's look at the suspect. Now, the suspect, this Emeka Nwangwu, is a member of the neighborhood security watch group. He is a uniformed man. He is a uniformed personnel. I mean, what does this say in its entirety? And a neighborhood watch man that has all of those arms being accused of being notorious. I mean, if he was notorious for so long, then what it's saying is there were so many opportunities to have brought him to justice. I mean, a notorious neighborhood security watch. Elijah, is everything all right?
Yes. It still boils down to the fact that because the use of the term notorious is coming from the people. The question now is the police seeing him as notorious, right? So that if the people are afraid and have been talking about him in this manner, and then from this other side, a press release has been made about him, and he agreed to the crimes, and then he was forgiven, it means that perhaps the police may not have been seeing him as a notorious person and may not have had reports about him. Because if they did, perhaps this press release may have somehow said one or two about his previous acts. All right, his previous acts, and how this has now cemented the reports they've been receiving about him. And so, but then I don't really understand the kind of country we are in, because the law should have taken its due course before now.
Elijah, do you think that maybe one of the reasons why the police don't know about this man being notorious, about the people, people that perceive and stay with him and, that see him, relate with him one-on-one every other day, see him as being notorious, is because they might give this intel to the police and somehow to leak, and they'll come after these individuals. Do you think this could actually be the reason why, the police does not know that this man is like this, but the people know that this man right here is notorious, but they couldn't say anything, they couldn't speak, they couldn't give that intel, because they might be scared. Maybe the information might leak and they'll come after them.
I don't think that should be the fact, because I know, in as much as things are happening the way they're happening in our country, but I know that our security agency and security system, they have information. They know who is doing what, where, and when. It's just the ability to act, because several other times things have happened and they were swept under the carpet because of who was involved. So that, in fact, if you follow up a whole lot of posts about this on social media, in as much as we don't all act on social media, but whatsoever really comes often and often on social media has some traces of truth. So it is obvious that this man is known for certain notorious acts. This girl has been crying, has been voicing out, so that it shouldn't be. It's no longer a case of this thing has been happening and she has not been reporting.
Right.
But now the silence of the people is obviously tied to the fact that they know that this man, it's not nice, if I may just use that.
Well, I think he has met his own, shall we say, his Waterloo. In this case, his Waterloo, right? His Waterloo. I feel like the Ministry of Children, Gender Affairs has to also get involved in this, because this case is also not unconnected to sexual abuse. It's important that all of the relevant ministries weigh in. I would also be looking forward to a comment from the local government chairman as he comes to speak to this issue that happened in Nsukka. Engineer Judah Sogwa, he may like to respond as allegations are rife about some kind of, I think people are trying to tie together. I don't know if it's political or not. It may be political, it may be not, but he also has to, react to this. Thank you, Elijah, for sharing your valuable insights and for your, shall we say, fearless journalism. So good to have you join us again this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
We'll continue to monitor this story. Afia TV is on ground and will bring you insights as it progresses. It is important for that place to be further investigated. It should be a crime scene. We do have footage that shows that business activity is going on as usual. And it's a developing story. It is developing. And when the time comes, we would release a report on that as required. Now the Good Morning Show will return after this quick break. And when we come back, we'll be discussing other issues concerning a forthcoming gala night being held by, shall we say, Nagrams. Many of you already know them. We'll come to that in just seconds. Don't go anywhere.